Okay, so to start the project, you're going to go to File, New, Document, and I'm just leaving it at all the default settings. Next, you want to get your image. I already have mine, so I'm just going to paste it in right now. I zoomed out a little bit so that I can see the entire project. Right now, I'm scaling it down. The pink line right there is what's actually going to print, but you have to do what's called bleeding, where you stretch it out past that line so that the picture prints all the way to the edge. Next, I'm going to add a quick box using the rectangle tool to create a text box with the background color. So here I go, fill and color it the color I want it. I'm going to go to the pointer tool and I'm going to stretch it out so that it'll bleed just like I did with the picture. It doesn't need to be quite that far. It needs to just go about to the black line. Okay, now I'm going to add text. So I'm going to make sure I'm not selecting the blue box. And I'm going to click on the text tool. I'm just going to type in what I want my title to be. So I'll stretch this text box out a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to select the text and change it to whatever font I want. Here you go. And I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit bigger. And it's a little bit too big. I'm going to shrink it down. And it looks like I need to stretch out my text box a little bit to make everything fit. So let me select tool, and then I can make that text box bigger. So now I've got to go back into the text tool so that I can select it. I stretch the text box out to the pink line because unlike a picture, you don't want the words to cut off at the page. So you want to make sure it's the right size. Now that I have the width adjusted to the right size, I'm going to stretch the height to about 150%. And now I can go back to the select tool after I change the color of the text, and I can move it to the place that I want it to be. Okay, so now that I've got the basis done, I'm just readjusting the positioning of it to make sure everything's exactly the way I want it. Now I'm going to draw an ellipse just to add a background for some of my text. So an ellipse is pretty much just a circle. So I'll take that and move it to where I want to move that. I'm going to fill it to the color that I want. Stretch that out a little bit. Now I can add my text. I'm going to create whatever slogan or story title I want. And just like before, once I have that typed out, I can select the text and then change the font and the size a little bit. Now I'm going to use the select tool and change the size of the text box after I change the color of the font. To add a little bit more visual appeal, you can go back to the text tool and center your text to make it look better with the ellipses. Now I can just select that, move it around a little bit, however you may want it to be positioned. And you can just continue adding more text. And I've actually got a finished project to skip through all these text adding phases. And this is what it can look like. So here's your magazine cover.